June 15, 1873. Hizarlik Hill, Ottoman Empire, modern-day northwestern Turkey. The morning air is thick with dust. Under summer heat, laborers swing picks into a silent ancient mound. Dry wind sweeps the plains near the Dardanelles. In the distance, Aegean Sea waves break softly against the coast. At the center stands a man scholars considered reckless. Heinrich Schliemann wipes dirt from his hands. He stares into the trench before him. Shattered walls, broken pottery, layers of ancient debris. For centuries, educated Europe laughed at the Trojan War being real. The tale came from Homer's Iliad: gods, giant walls, heroic duels, and the legendary wooden horse. Most historians viewed it as pure mythology. Troy, they believed, existed only in poetry. Yet Schliemann was convinced the city stood beneath this hill. After weeks of digging, something extraordinary emerges. Massive stone foundations. Burned debris. Fragments of collapsed towers blackened by ancient fire. The deeper they cut, the stranger the sight becomes. Workers uncover not one city, but many. Entire civilizations layered atop one another. Some layers show peaceful rebuilding, others sudden destruction. Then comes the discovery that changes everything. A cache of gold ornaments hidden near a massive wall. Silver vessels, bronze weapons, jeweled artifacts. Schliemann would call it Priam's treasure. He believed it belonged to the legendary king of Troy. Whether the claim was true remained uncertain. But one fact became impossible to ignore. A great city had existed here, and at least one version had died violently in flames. For 2,000 years, Troy survived only through oral tradition. Greek legend. Paris of Troy abducted Helen, queen of Sparta. The face that launched 1,000 ships. Greek kingdoms united under King Agamemnon. They sailed across the Aegean to besiege Troy. 10 brutal years of war. Most scholars dismissed the story as fantasy. In Homer's narrative, gods intervened directly in battle. Warriors possessed near-superhuman abilities. Divine prophecies shaped the course of events. To 19th-century historians, it seemed impossible to separate from myth. But Schliemann was not trained like traditional archaeologists. Born in Germany in 1822, obsessed with Homer's writings. As a child, he memorized passages from the Iliad. He dreamed of finding the lost city himself. After becoming wealthy in trade, he devoted his fortune to archaeology. Many academics mocked him as an amateur treasure hunter. Yet his excavations uncovered something undeniable. At least 9 cities lay buried within the mound. Troy 7, destroyed by fire in the 12th century BCE. Cracked stones, burned homes, human remains. What if Homer preserved only a distorted memory of something far darker? Autumn, 1890. Hizarlik Hill grows quiet beneath a gray Anatolian sky. The trenches carved into the earth now resemble wounds across the landscape. Workers carry baskets of pottery shards, bone fragments, and blackened stone. Beneath their feet lies more than one lost city. It is an entire timeline buried underground. Each layer reveals a civilization rising, flourishing, then collapsing. Over centuries, wind and earth sealed these worlds like stacked tombs, and somewhere among them may be the Troy that inspired Homer. After Heinrich Schliemann's death in 1890, others continued with greater care. Among them was Wilhelm Dorpfeld, who studied the city layer by layer. Instead of tearing directly through the mound, what he discovered changed the understanding of Troy forever. Schliemann believed the deepest ruins were Homer's Troy, but Dorpfeld realized those lower cities were far too old. The real Troy likely existed higher in the mound, in later Bronze Age layers. Attention shifted toward Troy 6 and Troy 7. Those layers revealed a city far more sophisticated than scholars imagined. Massive limestone walls curved around the settlement, rising over 8 meters. Defensive towers overlooked surrounding plains. Narrow gateways forced enemies into vulnerable choke points. The city had clearly been designed to withstand attack. For centuries, Homer's strong-walled Troy had sounded poetic. Now archaeologists were staring directly at those walls. Troy was a wealthy trading city, not an isolated fortress. It sat near one of the ancient world's most important waterways, the Dardanelles. Any ship moving between the Aegean and Black Sea passed nearby. That meant trade, power, control, and inevitably, conflict. Bronze Age kingdoms depended on copper and tin from distant trade routes, essential materials for making bronze weapons and tools. A city controlling maritime access could become enormously wealthy. Suddenly, the Trojan War no longer looked like a romantic myth. It resembled something far more familiar, a war over economics, over territory, over strategic dominance. Troy interacted with powerful neighboring civilizations. Hittite records mention a city called Wilusa. Many historians now believe Wilusa may refer to Ilios, another name for Troy. Hittite texts describe tensions and alliances during the Late Bronze Age. The names are hauntingly close: Wilusa, Ilios, Troy. Homer's epic may preserve distant echoes of real political struggles. But the ruins held darker clues as well. Storage jars were buried tightly into house floors of Troy 7. Homes appeared crowded, suggesting refugees gathered inside before destruction. Then came the burn marks, entire sections consumed by intense fire. Stone cracked from heat, roof beams collapsed inward. Human skeletons were found beneath debris, frozen in their final moments. This was not the slow decline of an abandoned city. Something violent happened. An invasion, a civil war, or famine followed by fire. But the Iliad was written centuries after the war it described. And the Trojan horse? No archaeological evidence proves it ever existed. Some scholars suspect the horse may have symbolized an earthquake, Poseidon's domain. Where were the armies? Why did the greatest Bronze Age war leave so little behind? Summer, 1932. The ruins of Troy shimmer beneath brutal afternoon heat. Cicadas echo across the dry plains of northwestern Anatolia. Dust drifts through the shattered stone streets where merchants, soldiers, and kings may once have walked. More than 3,000 years earlier. Archaeologists kneel inside collapsed buildings with brushes and measuring tools, recording every fragment with increasing precision. Unlike the dramatic excavations of the 19th century, archaeology has become slower now, more cautious. Because the greatest danger is no longer missing treasure. It is destroying history before it can be understood. As the decades passed, Troy transformed from a legendary discovery into one of archaeology's most debated sites. Every new excavation raised another unsettling question. Had historians truly found the city of Homer? Or had they simply found a ruined Bronze Age settlement that people desperately wanted to connect to myth? The arguments grew intense. Some scholars pointed to the destruction layers of Troy 7 and saw clear evidence of warfare. Others remained unconvinced. Ancient cities burned frequently in the Bronze Age. Earthquakes, accidental fires, internal rebellions, famine, piracy. All could reduce a city to ruins. A burned city alone proved nothing. And troubling inconsistencies continued to emerge. The Troy described in the Iliad is enormous, a wealthy metropolis capable of resisting Greek armies for 10 years. Yet the archaeological remains initially appeared relatively modest compared to other Bronze Age capitals like Mycenae. Could this small hilltop settlement really have inspired one of history's greatest epics? For a time, many historians doubted it. Then came another breakthrough. In the late 20th century, archaeologist Manfred Korfmann began re-examining Troy using modern technology, including ground-penetrating surveys and magnetometry. What emerged stunned researchers. The famous citadel on the hill represented only part of the city. Beneath surrounding fields lay evidence of a much larger lower settlement. Defensive ditches, roads, and habitation zones suggested Bronze Age Troy may have housed thousands. Suddenly, Homer's descriptions no longer seemed so exaggerated. The city had been far larger than earlier archaeologists realized. Yet controversy only deepened. Critics argued Korfmann overstated the city's importance. Some believed Troy was still too small to justify the scale of the Trojan War tradition. Academic conferences turned hostile. Papers attacked competing theories with unusual bitterness. Because beneath the arguments about walls and pottery lay a much larger issue. Western civilization itself had grown up treating the Trojan War as one of its foundational stories. If Troy proved historical, then myth and history were more deeply connected than many scholars admitted. But if the connection was false, generations may have projected fantasy onto ordinary ruins. Meanwhile, evidence from the wider Bronze Age world painted an even darker picture. Around 1200 BCE, civilizations across the eastern Mediterranean began collapsing almost simultaneously. The Bronze Age collapse devastated major kingdoms from Greece to Anatolia. Palaces burned. Trade routes failed. Entire populations vanished from historical records. The powerful Mycenaean kingdoms of Greece declined rapidly. The Hittite Empire collapsed entirely. Some historians believe Troy's destruction may have been only one piece of this larger catastrophe. A regional war, economic collapse, climate disaster, famine, piracy, mass migration. Perhaps the Trojan War was remembered not because it caused the end of an age, but because it happened during it. Achilles, Hector, Odysseus. No definitive evidence proves any of them existed. No royal tomb has been conclusively identified as belonging to Homeric kings. The Iliad contains remarkably accurate descriptions of Bronze Age armor, warfare, and geography. Yet the same narrative includes divine intervention, prophecy, and impossible feats of heroism. Truth and myth exist side by side, almost inseparable. As twilight falls across the ruins of Troy, the greatest mystery is how much of Homer's epic was memory and how much was myth. September 1998. Night settles slowly over the ruins of Troy. Floodlights cast pale beams across ancient stone walls. While archaeologists pack away measuring equipment and notebooks, the air smells of dry grass and cooling earth. Beyond the excavation site, the dark waters of the Dardanelles shimmer beneath moonlight. The same narrow strait that ships crossed thousands of years ago. The site is quiet now. But beneath the silence lies the memory of countless lives. Generations who built homes here, defended these walls, buried their dead beneath the same soil now brushed clean by archaeologists. For more than a century, Troy has existed in two worlds at once. One belongs to history, the other belongs to legend. And despite every excavation, neither world has fully surrendered its secrets. By the late 20th century, most historians agreed on one thing. A real Bronze Age city stood at Hazarlik in northwestern Turkey. That much was beyond dispute. Excavations had revealed massive fortifications, evidence of trade, destruction by fire, and occupation during the era of the Trojan War. Yet the central question remained unresolved. Did Homer preserve the memory of an actual war? Or did later generations weave scattered fragments into a single epic tale? The answer may never be fully known. Because archaeology does not uncover stories neatly. It uncovers fragments. A broken spearhead, collapsed wall, a layer of ash trapped between stones. And from those fragments, historians attempt to reconstruct entire worlds. But Troy presents an especially difficult challenge. The city was occupied repeatedly for thousands of years. Earthquakes damaged parts of it. Fires destroyed it more than once. New civilizations built directly atop older ruins. Every layer complicated the story further. Even the dating remains contested. Some scholars believe Troy VIA, destroyed around 1180 BCE, best matches the conflict period. Others argue Troy 6 fits Homer's descriptions more closely. The epic may preserve memories from both cities combined across centuries. That possibility is haunting. It suggests the Trojan War may never have happened exactly as described, yet still emerged from real suffering experienced by real people. A city besieged, families trapped behind walls, famine spreading through crowded streets, ships appearing along the coast beneath smoke-filled skies. Over generations, memory transforms, facts blur, heroes grow larger, defeats become legends, and eventually history becomes myth. But perhaps the most unsettling mystery is not whether the Trojan War occurred. It is why the story endured for nearly 3,000 years. Civilizations vanished during the Bronze Age collapse. Kingdoms disappeared. Yet somehow the memory of Troy survived, passed orally from one generation to another before being written into the Iliad. That survival alone is extraordinary. The Trojan War may have become a cultural memory of catastrophe, a memory of cities burning, of kingdoms falling, of an age disappearing forever. Legends are not always invented from nothing. Sometimes myths form around the shattered remains of real events.